Hi, welcome to the video on mass-to-mass practice. In this video, we're going to go over these mass-to-mass practice problems. You have this on another printout. I didn't have the printout, so I just copied the first two questions, and that's what we're going to go over. So just a quick reminder of what we're doing here. In all of these problems, we are given the mass of one substance and asked to find the mass of another. And these are reaction stoichiometry problems, so the substances will either be reactants and or products in a chemical reaction. So our step 0 really is to make sure we balance the reaction that's involved. So let's go ahead and read this problem. And it says, how many grams of sodium do you need to make 18 grams of solid sodium chloride? So we want to know how many grams of this we need to make 18 grams of that, of sodium chloride, right? And if you look at the chemical equation, it was not balanced, so I did the work. I'm going to zoom in there to balance it. I did the tally, etc. If you need to review how to balance chemical equations, there will be a video linked in your folder. So I balanced it already. Now the purpose of balancing it is that it's going to give me the mole ratios between my given and find. So that's why I need those. I need the coefficients because they're going to be my molar ratios. All right. So let's go into how we analyze a problem. We always start, once we've gotten everything all set up, we are looking for our given. Our given is 18 grams of solid sodium, so 18 grams of sodium chloride. Sodium chloride, there we go. So if 18 grams of that, that's my given. And I want to find, don't forget to write the substance, I want to find the grams of sodium. So what's my plan? So I'm going to start with 18.0 grams of sodium chloride, and the next step is to convert that to moles of sodium chloride, because my given and find are different substances, and in order to convert from one substance to another, they both have to be in moles. So I need to convert the sodium chloride into moles, and then I can use that to find the moles of sodium. And then once I have the moles of sodium, I can get the grams of sodium. Okay, so if I'm going to convert from grams to moles, you know that we're going to use the mole equals mass over molar mass, or if you're setting up with dimensional analysis, either way, you're going to need the molar mass of sodium chloride. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down to the side. And you get that from the periodic table. So the molar mass of sodium chloride is 58.44 grams per mole. So this will come from the periodic table. If you need to review how to get the molar mass, right here, then go ahead and do that. Okay, so the first step, I'm going from grams of sodium chloride to moles of sodium chloride. I'm going to use mole equals mass over molar mass. And so the moles of sodium chloride is going to equal 18 grams divided by the molar mass. And I get, when I do that work, I get that the moles of sodium chloride is 0.308 moles of sodium chloride. All right, put a line here. That's step 1. Now I need to go ahead and do step 2. Step 2 is to go from moles of sodium chloride to moles of sodium. All right, I'm just going to put a little box around my work here. Okay, so for step 2, what I'm going to do is, this is where I'm using my dimensional analysis. I have the moles of sodium chloride. I want to get to moles of sodium. So I'm going to take my moles of sodium chloride, and I'm putting it over 1. The first fraction is over 1 just to make it a fraction. And then I'm going to multiply it by my conversion factor. Remember, this comes from the balanced chemical equation. So I look for, I'm trying to cancel out moles of sodium chloride, so I need to find the moles of sodium chloride, this part of the equation. I'm going to take that and plop that down here because that's 2 moles of sodium chloride. Notice the 2 comes from the coefficients in the balanced chemical equation. Now I want to convert that to moles of sodium, so I'm going to take this part and I'm going to plop that over here. Now, if I were doing the math, of course, I would multiply straight across. 0.3 0.08 times 2 and then divide everything by 2. But it's really easy to see this is a 1-to-1 ratio essentially. So the answer is if I have 0.308 moles of sodium chloride, I can make 0.308 moles of sodium. So now I have the moles of sodium. Okay, so that was step 2. Okay, now I need to go ahead and do step 3, and I'll put another box for that. So for that last step, I need to convert these moles of sodium to grams of sodium. All right, so once again, if you're converting from moles to mass, you're going to use moles equals mass over molar mass. And I need the molar mass of sodium, so I look on the periodic table, and the molar mass of sodium is 22.99 grams per mole. Okay, once I have the molar mass of sodium, I can go ahead and do my step 3, which is to convert it. So I have the mole, so for the mole part of the equation, I'm going to plug in my 0.308 moles. That's for sodium. And I'm looking for the mass, that's my unknown, and the molar mass is 22.99. So I can just, in this case, it's a cross multiplication. You multiply these two numbers, and you get the mass of sodium to be 7.08 grams. Okay, so let's zoom out and recap. For this problem, you were given 18 grams. You wanted to know how many grams of sodium you needed to make 18 grams of this. So you were aiming to make 18 grams of sodium chloride. You wanted to know how many grams of sodium. And the answer is 7.08 grams. So you need 7.08 grams of sodium to make 18 grams of sodium chloride. Now, if you're taking a step back, you may be thinking, well, if you look here, it's 2 to 2. Why couldn't it just be 18 to make 18 grams of sodium chloride? You need 18 grams of sodium. Remember, they don't have the same molar mass. They're not the same substances. And so that's why we have to go through moles. All right, so you may be surprised that this is the answer, but this is the answer. To make 18 grams of sodium chloride, you need 7.08 grams of sodium. All right, that's it for question 1. Next video, we'll go into question 2. Have a quality day.